verses 6 and 7. And the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound it. And the first sounded, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood. They were thrown to the earth, and a third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. Okay, this is a judgment directly from Elohim. The hail and fire mixed with blood is a reference to the judgment of Elohim coming down to earth. Look at Psalm 11, starting at verse 5. Yahweh tests the righteous and the wicked, and the one who loves violence his soul hates. Upon the wicked he'll rain snares, fire and brimstone and burning wind will be the portion of their cup. For Yahweh is righteous, he loves righteousness, the upright will behold his face. Isaiah 28, verse 2. Behold, Adonai is a strong and mighty agent. As a storm of hail, a tempest of destruction, like a storm of mighty overflowing waters, he's cast it down to the earth with his hand. In Isaiah 30, verses 30 and 31, Yahweh will cause his voice of authority to be heard, the descending of his arm to be seen in fierce anger, in the flame of consuming fire, in cloudburst downpour and hailstones. For at the voice of Yahweh, Assyria will be terrified when he strikes with the rod. You can see all these symbols in Revelation, they're all in the rest of Scripture. We can figure out what they are, what they mean. He says that a third of the earth, or the land, is burned up, judged, let's say. A third of the trees, all the green grass. Okay, what does that mean? Now, trees are a symbol of those who are prideful. Isaiah 2, verses 12 and 13, for the Yahweh of hosts will have a day of reckoning against everyone who is proud and lofty, against everyone who is lifted up, that he may be abased. And it will be against all the cedars of Lebanon that are lofty and lifted up, against all the oaks of Bashan. Isaiah 10, verses 33 and 34. Behold, Adonai, Yahweh of the hosts will lop off the bows with a terrible crash. Those also who are tall in stature will be cut down, and those who are lofty will be abased. He'll cut down the thickets of the forest with a mighty axe. Lebanon will fall by the mighty one. Zechariah 11, verses 1 and 2. Open your doors, O Lebanon, that a fire may feed your cedars. Wail, O cypress, for the cedar is fallen, because the glorious trees have been destroyed. Wail, O oaks of Bashan, the impenetrable forest has been cut down. Okay, now let's look at those. This is those trees which produce bad fruit, works against the Torah, for instance. The green grass, that's symbolic of the unrighteous. 2 Kings 19, verses 25 and 26. Have you not heard? Long ago I did it. From ancient times I planned it. Now I brought it to pass that you should turn fortified cities into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were short of strength. They were dismayed and put to shame. They were as the vegetation of the field, as the green herb, as the grass on the housetops is scorched before it is grown up. Psalm 37, verses 1 and 2. Do not fret because of evildoers. Be not envious toward wrongdoers, for they will wither quickly like the grass and fade like the green herb. So, in his description of his return in the previous chapter, we're told that before the sea or the Gentile nations and the trees, the unrighteous, are destroyed, Elohim wanted to have his people sealed, if you'll recall. And the second angel sounded, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea became blood. The third of the creatures which were in the sea and life died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. Oh, here we go. What's this thing like a great mountain burning? That's a good question. You know, Babylon is described as a destroying mountain, which destroys the whole earth. There she is. After Babylon was prophesied as being destroyed, then they were a burnt out mountain. That's in Jeremiah 51, verse 25. Behold, I'm against you, O destroying mountain, who destroys the whole earth, declares Yahweh. I'll stretch out my hand against you and roll you down from the crags. I'll make you a burnt-out mountain. You know, mountains in Scripture, they're often metaphorically used to describe kingdoms or powerful actions taken by kingdoms. For instance, in Daniel 2, verse 35, then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed all at the same time, became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, so that not a trace of them was found. But the stone that struck the statue became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Then verse 44, in the days of those kings, the Elohim of heaven will set up a kingdom which will never be destroyed. The kingdom will not be left for another people. It will crush and put to an end all these kingdoms, but it will itself endure forever. Now, the mountain being described here, I'll tell you what it is, and we can prove it as we go. This is the Roman Empire. It was thrown into the sea. What are the waters in Scripture? What are they symbolic of? Revelation 17:15, he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are the peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So this big empire is thrown in the middle of all the people. And that's what we have here. While Roman Empire was a very flawed and destructive empire, you know what it did bring? It brought law and order and authority to Roman law. That's what it brought. It brought down the proud. It brought down the evil. It brought law and order. Verses 10 and 11. And the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch. It fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of waters. The name of the star is called Wormwood, and a third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the waters because they were made bitter. Oh boy, here we go. What's the difference between a burning mountain and a star? Look what we know about stars now. Location, yeah. But if they both come falling from the sky, I'd say there's no difference. Same thing. Well, this is an action of the Roman Empire that's being described here. It's another aspect of it. And the star is called wormwood. Wormwood is described in Scripture as being unrighteousness, injustice, and following your own stubborn heart instead of following the ways of Elohim. That's what wormwood is. Let's take a look. Deuteronomy 29, verses 18 through 20. Lest there shall be among you a man or woman or family or tribe whose heart turns away from Yahweh or Elohim to go and serve the gods of the nations. Lest there shall be among you a root bearing poisonous fruit and wormwood. It shall be when he hears the words of this curse that he'll boast, saying, I have peace, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, in order to destroy the watered land with the dry. Yahweh shall never be willing to forgive him, but rather the anger of Yahweh and his jealousy will burn against that man. Every curse which is written in the book will rest on him, and Yahweh will blot out his name from under heaven. We read in Jeremiah 9, starting in verse 13. And Yahweh said, because they've forsaken my Torah, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, nor walked according to it, but have walked after the stubbornness of their heart, and after the Baals, as their fathers taught them. Therefore thus says Yahweh of hosts, Elohim of Israel, behold, I will feed them, this people, with wormwood, give them poisoned water to drink. I mean, this is in Scripture in several places. It says the same thing. Jeremiah 23, verses 14 and 15. Also among the prophets of Jerusalem I've seen a terrible thing. The committing of adultery, walking in falsehood. They strengthen the hands of evildoers so that no one is turned back from his wickedness. All of them have gone to me, but like Sodom, and her inhabitants like Gomorrah. Therefore thus says Yahweh of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I'm going to feed them wormwood and make them drink poisonous water. For from the prophets of Jerusalem pollution has gone forth into all the land. Even Amos talks about it. Amos 5, verses 6 and 7. Seek Yahweh that you may live, lest he break forth like a fire, O house of Joseph, and it consume with none to quench it for Bethel. For those who turn justice into wormwood and cast righteousness down to the earth. In Amos 6, verse 12. Do horses run on rocks, or does one plow them with oxen? Yet you've turned justice into poison, the fruit of righteousness into wormwood. So wormwood is saying I'm going to follow my heart instead of the ways of Elohim. What did Roman Empire bring to the world? Law and order. Well, they brought law and order. They brought one other thing. Christianity. Yeah, brought Christianity. It brought the wormwood of Christianity into it. The empire contributed many things to the world, such as more or less the modern calendar. Look here. This is according to a EDU website. In 313 AD, Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity in the Roman Empire. Christianity replaced the Roman religion, became the universal religion of Europe eventually. The empire contributed many things to the world, such as more or less modern calendar, the institutions of Christianity, and aspects of the modern neoclassical architecture from the Old World Encyclopedia. In the Byzantine period, early in the 4th century, Roman Empire split, and Constantinople became the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire. Under the Byzantines, Christianity, dominated by the Greek Orthodox Church, was adopted as the official religion. Jerusalem became a Christian city, and the Jews were still banned from living there. Let's go to verse 12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third of the sun, and the third of the moon, and the third of the stars were smitten, so that the third of them might be darkened, and the day might not shine for a third of it, and the night in the same way. What are the sun, moon, and stars symbolic of? Israel. Abraham was told his descendants would number like the stars of the sky. Joseph's dream, 1 star, 11 stars, sun, the moon are going to bow down to him as the 12th star. Israel is, and what we're having here are the Jewish people pictured here in particular. We talked about last time, that Islam, through jihad, has killed 719 million people recorded in history. That's recorded. Okay? 719 million through jihad that were non-Muslims. They kill themselves, they kill each other too. But remember the list? They really didn't get to choose. They didn't get to choose. Why? Because Elohim scattered them. He told them to. When you see the abomination of desolation sitting at the holy place, spoken of by the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand what Daniel means by that. When you see the Dome of the Rock, get out. And they did, scattered them all over the world. If they had stayed concentrated in one place, Islam would have destroyed them. But where did they get scattered to? Where did they go? Europe, mostly. The Jewish people have a lot of them have a big beef against Christianity because really they killed quite a few more Jews than Islam has in history. The Jewish people suffered greatly at the hands of Christianity in the Roman Empire. Verse 1 of chapter 9. The fifth angel sounded. I saw a star from heaven which had fallen to the earth, and the key of the bottomless pit was given to him. Okay, remember star falling from heaven. No reason to believe it's any different than it meant in chapter 8. This is another action by the Roman Empire that's going to happen. And it says the star was given the key to the bottomless pit, or the abyss. Sometimes it's translated as the abyss or the pit. You know what a pit or the abyss stands for in Scripture, symbolically? It's related to a trap that nations have generally set for themselves that they can't get out of. Okay? Take a look at Psalm 9, verse 15. The nations have sunk down in the pit which they have made, and the net which they hid, their own foot has been caught. Proverbs 22, verse 14. The mouth of an adulteress is a deep pit. He who is cursed of Yahweh will fall into it. Isaiah 24, verse 21. So it will happen in that day that Yahweh will punish the host of heaven on high and the kings of the earth on earth, and they will be gathered together like prisoners in the dungeon or the pit, and they'll be confined in prison. After many days they'll be punished. Let me read Isaiah 24, verse, and we're going to, what a dungeon or pit is here. It's a word, a synonymous word in the Hebrew. Verses 21 and 22. So it'll happen in that day, Yahweh will punish the host of the earth on high and the kings of the earth on earth, and they'll be gathered together like prisoners in a dungeon or pit. They'll be confined in prison. After many days they'll be punished. So what it's describing there is, go back up to the passage. Now they get the key to the bottomless pit. They're going to get out of their domain that they've been stuck in. Okay? So mostly Europe and a little bit into south and east, but not a whole lot. They're going to get the key to that pit and get out of there. Verses 13 and 14. And the sixth angel sounded. I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before Elohim. One saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, release the four angels who are bound at the great river, Euphrates. The Euphrates is an area where the Babylonians brought the Israelites into captivity. Now, Babylon is a fountainhead of idolatry and false religion. We're told in Isaiah 8:7 that Euphrates is used as a symbol of a mighty army going against Israel. Isaiah 8, verse 7, go look at verse 8 too. Now therefore, behold, Adonai is about to bring on them the strong, abundant waters of the Euphrates, even the king of Assyria in all its glory. It'll rise up over its channels, go over all its banks. It'll sweep on into Judah. It'll overflow and pass through. It'll reach even to the neck, and the spread of its wings will fill the breadth of your land, O Emmanuel. Okay, once again, we're dealing with symbolism in Scripture. The armies described in this passage, very similar to the armies described earlier in the chapter. So we're still dealing with a facsimile of the Roman Empire in the form of European countries. Keep in mind, angels are messengers. Okay? The four messengers being bound here is apparently a reference to the hatred against the people of Elohim that is going to be loosed. The hatred that the Europeans have had for the Jewish people is very well documented. It's going to be let loose here, is what it says. It's a matter of history. It's a matter of fact today still.